Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to Canal Algérie's Midnight 3 Bulletin. To the headlines. An important set of recommendations that define the parameters of the future of agricultural strategy, related mainly to the digitization of the management and modernization of means of production, expansion of irrigated areas, and encouraging investment in manufacturing, are the outcomes of the National Conference on Agriculture. Also in the bulletin, a story on the Zibans mills located in Al-Qantara municipality in Biskra province, an ISO-certified national leader in the production of flour and semolina ready to export. On the World Civil Defense Day, an occasion to pay tribute to this vital corps, especially after their heroic performance recently in Syria and Turkey. Lastly, we visit Gherdaya province, specifically the Mzab Valley, a UNESCO World Heritage Site that keeps attracting visitors. Good evening, those are tonight's headlines. First in our news, the Conference on Agriculture, chaired by the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, which was held on Tuesday under the theme Sustainable Food Security, was crowned with many recommendations that will be submitted to the Council of Ministers. The Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development is tasked in his capacity as the Minister of the sector to define a timetable not exceeding 12 months for the application of the recommendations of the workshops organized within the framework of these meetings. The implementation has to be done in coordination with the other ministerial departments, including finance, trade, fishing, and industry. Most prominent recommendations aim to support the investment in the agricultural processing industry, in addition to the necessary digitization of the management of the sector, as well as the extension of irrigated parameters and land regularization. The Zibans mills located in Al-Qantara municipality in Biskra province produces 2,200 quintals of bread flour and 1,800 quintals of semolina per day. Its unit located in Biskra has 3 ISO certifications, allowing it to export its products. However, their priority is to meet the needs of the local market. Story by Minal Ammari.
This important complex, located in Al-Qantara municipality, is the only one out of the existing 6 facilities to possess 3 ISO certifications. This complex obtains its supplies from the Dry Cereals and Pulses Cooperatives, or CCLS, in Biskra province, namely from units affiliated with the Algerian Interprofessional Office of Cereals. The quantities produced here depend on the capacities of their mills and flour mills, which were renovated with the aim of improving production in order to meet the needs of this province's inhabitants.
We participated
in a fair in Tamnaras province, and we had a favorable opinion to export our products after the removal of state support.
This complex also owns a pilot farm with 16 pilot pivots with a 1,200 hectare surface area situated in Wergla province. During the year 2022, the yield estimated at 42% was described as very favorable. This company also invested more in the south with the aim of reducing the wheat import bill due to the lack of availability of agricultural land, particularly in the provinces of Biskra, Hassi Mas'oud, and Mania.
We produced 2,200 quintals of bread flour and 1,800 quintals of semolina destined to be sold locally into neighboring provinces, namely Betna, Msila, and the Great South.
Operated by an integrated management system, the Al-Qantara complex also supplies the farmers of Biskra, Oulad Jillad, and other neighboring provinces, and supplies livestock feed units at the level of Umash municipality.
The Prime Minister Ayman bin Abdurrahman chaired a cabinet's meeting where he examined many bills and listened to presentations related to the sectors of justice, agriculture, solidarity, and fishing. In the field of justice, the government examined a bill containing special measures to obtain alimony. In the field of agriculture, the government examined a draft executive decree that includes the allocation of a plot of land belonging to the Force of National Property in the province of Mdia. In solidarity, the government listened to a presentation by the Minister of National Solidarity, Family Affairs and Status of Women on the state of the specialized institutions of her ministerial department and the relevant prospects In fisheries, the Minister of the sector made a presentation on the progress made in the implementation of the roadmap of the development of a special social protection system for fishing professionals. To the parliamentary activity, where the Speaker of the National People's Assembly, Ibrahim Boughali, received at the headquarters of the Assembly Sheikh Bauchi Al-Tahir Dahir Uthman, Sheikh of the Tariqa Tijaniya in Nigeria. Also at the National People's Assembly, the parliamentary group of the National Liberation Front organized on Wednesday a parliamentary day under the theme "No to Obstructing the Sahrawi People in Self-Determination and Independence." In the presence of the Speaker of the Assembly, Ibrahim Boughali, and Western Sahara's ambassador to Algeria, as well as Cuba's ambassador to Algeria, and the Chargé d'Affaires of South Africa to Algeria, as well as the Minister of War Veterans and Rights Holders, Al-Aider Biga, and representatives of the national organizations and the civil society. The Speaker of the Council, Boughali, reiterated Algeria's firm position in support of the Sahrawi people in its fair cause. The proceedings of the 40th session of the Arab Interior Ministers' Council kicked off in Tunisia, and this in the presence of the Minister of Interior, Local Collectivities and Territory Planning, Brahim Merred. Many important topics were at the heart of the discussion, such as cybersecurity, fighting terrorism, and cybercrime. The Minister of Interior, Local Collectivities and Territory Planning, Brahim Merred, was received by the Tunisian President Kais Saied as part of a delegation of the Interior Ministers taking part in the session. On the sidelines of the same session, the Minister of Interior, Local Collectivities and Territory Planning, Brahim Merred, alongside his Tunisian counterpart Tawfiq Sharafuddin, reviewed the depth of the outstanding relations between the two brotherly countries. Ibrahim Merred also met with the Interior Minister of the National Unity Government of Libya, Imad Mustafa Al-Tarablusi. The Algerian Minister of Interior also met with the Minister of Interior of Djibouti, Saïd Nouh Hassan, who praised Algeria's expertise in many fields and sectors. Brahim Merred also met with the Yemeni Minister of Interior, Ibrahim Ali Hamdan. The World Civil Defense Day is celebrated around the globe March 1st every year. Algeria, like many other countries, celebrates it across national territory through a rich program which includes tributes, sports and cultural competitions, open doors and activities to raise awareness organized by the Directorate of Civil Defense. This year's theme is the role of information technology in the evaluation of risks, which is considered an essential factor in an efficient catastrophe management system. The Directorate of Civil Defense has put in place new mechanisms in order to strengthen operational capabilities and to further improve risks prevention. This day also constitutes an occasion to pay tribute to the elements of this vital corps who are usually the first to intervene to save lives. The elements of civil defense recently distinguished themselves in the earthquake of Turkey and Syria, and even during natural disasters that occurred in our country, such as Boumerdès earthquake or Bab el-Oued floods. They are specialized teams capable of intervening in extreme conditions thanks to specialized trainings, as we will see with Rania Al-Bahri.
Civil defense elements are always mobilized to carry out their rescue mission, a noble mission that they sometimes accomplish at the risk of their lives, with the sole objective of rescuing their fellow citizens. Civil defense were present during the last fires which ravaged Tizi Ouzou, Bjaya and Bouira provinces, as well as in Boumerdès earthquake, Bab el-Oued and Ghardaya floods. The Algerian civil defense teams also intervene within the framework of international solidarity in other countries, as was the case during the last earthquake which shook Turkey and Syria. They were the first to go there to bring aid and assistance to disaster victims and to pull out victims from the rubble. Civil defense elements are always on the front lines during and after crisis, which they manage efficiently thanks to their quality training and the means put at their disposal. They have always managed to meet the greatest challenges thanks to their different brigades, whether it is in search, rescue and clearing brigades. the Canal Brigade, or even the GRIMP intervention group who intervene in perilous environments. Thanks to their long experience and their professionalism in the management of natural disasters and crises, civil defense elements have distinguished themselves internationally by the quality of their interventions, namely during the earthquakes that took place in Mexico, Armenia, India, Nepal and Iran, but also in 2023 forest fires which ravaged the south of France and the Beirut explosion of 2014. This brilliant career of the Algerian civil defense earned them to be certified by the International Search and Rescue Advisory Group in Sarag, a certification which attests to the level of Algerian civil defense and the quality of its interventions.
The GRIMP, a special unit of civil defense, a group of search and intervention in perilous conditions or circumstances where the other units of civil defense cannot properly intervene. The GRIMP is already operational in 8 provinces of the country. The latest province on the list is Mustaganem, as we will see with Sabrin Tefrginit.
Facing dangerous, complicated and difficult situations, Civil Protection has special units for such emergency operations. Units or groups of recognition, intervention in natural and artificial environments. The province of Mustaganem has its own unit now.
استحدثت مديرية الحماية المدنية لمستغانم هذا العام.
The Directorate of Civil Defense of the province of Mustaganem has created the unit GRIMP, specialized in the intervention in dangerous situations. We have also updated 3 other specialities: the team of support and of first intervention, specialized in earthquakes, avalanches and floods, strengthened with the new special and modern equipment, allowing a quick intervention in case of disasters or accidents.
التدخل في جميع الظروف.
I'm calling the unit of GRIMP to Shilf province in Sor municipality. There's a fallen man in mountain slope. This new special group of civil defense has done several trainings and rehearsals in order to increase its operational capacities facing dangerous and complicated circumstances.
باشرت هذه الفرقة مهامها في جانفي 2023.
This group started its functions in January 2023 after benefiting from training headed by instructors and specialists in this field. The elements of the group received theoretical and practical courses in order to accomplish their task in the best way possible. Tasks such as rescuing victims stuck in difficult areas, natural disasters like floods, or the artificial ones such as collapsing bridges, buildings, and so on. With a grey reflective stripe and red jackets, these elements of GRIMP are in groups of 14 to 30 members each. They include skydivers who are known for their high capacity of intervening in difficult circumstances.
The dynamics of sustained efforts in the fight against terrorism and multifaceted organized crime units and detachments of the National People's Army have executed during the period from the 22nd to the 28th of February 2023, several operations that have resulted in quality results that reflect the high professionalism, vigilance, and permanent availability of our armed forces throughout the national territory. As part of the fight against terrorism and security borders, combined detachments of the National People's Army arrested 9 elements supporting terrorist groups in separate operations across the national territory. As part of the fight against organized crime and in continuity with a sustained effort to counter the scourge of drug trafficking in our country, combined detachments of the National People's Army have arrested in coordination with the various security services during operations carried out throughout the military regions 65 drug traffickers and thwarted attempts to introduce quantities of drugs from the borders with Morocco, amounting to 10 quintals and 31 kilograms of processed kief and seized 267,141 psychotropic tablets and 523 grams of cocaine. In Tamaras, Burj Baji Mukhtar, Tindouf, and Janet, detachments of the National People's Army intercepted 859 individuals and seized 43 vehicles, 145 generators, 63 jackhammers, 61.5 quintals of mixture of raw gold and stones, as well as quantities of explosives, detonation tools, and equipment used in illegal gold panning operations, while 14 other individuals were arrested and 7 hunting rifles, 40 quintals of tobacco, 4,107 units of various beverages, and immense quantities of foodstuffs intended for smuggling and speculation amounting to 111 tons were seized in separate operations across the national territory. Similarly, the border guards, in coordination with the services of the National Gendarmerie, thwarted attempts to smuggle large quantities of fuel amounting to 52,558 liters in Tamrast, Bojbaji Mukhtar, Souq Haras, and Tbissa. On the other hand, the Coast Guard thwarted at our national coast attempts to illegal immigration and proceeded to rescue 112 individuals aboard homemade boats, while 488 illegal immigrants of different nationalities were arrested throughout the national territory. And in international developments, the families of a group of Sudanese victims who disappeared during the Nador and Melilla tragedy last June decided to create a committee to look for their children. Moroccan police brutally killed dozens of sub-Saharan migrants. Around 80 young Sudanese who tried to reach a Spanish enclave are still missing even 8 months of the tragedy. The press release of the committee stresses that the families of the missing individuals did not obtain any information concerning their children even now. And we end the bulletin with tourism. At the heart of the Mzab Valley, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, Ghardaya welcomes many visitors thanks to its swords, ancient sites and markets. Report by Naim Al-Walish, commentary by Manal Ammari.
In Ghardaya province, far from the madding crowd, we find guest houses which regularly welcome local and international tourists. The province's colorful traditional lodgings and culture attract many visitors from all over the world.
We come from the Stéphanoise region in France, and we came to visit Algeria in a cross-country road trip, starting with Algiers, namely the Kasbah, the Great Mosque, and several other exceptional and captivating areas. And I urge others with dual nationalities to come visit Algeria. It is beautiful and the people are welcoming. Ghardaya is a province that is rich in culture and history.
Ghardaya has an exceptionally breathtaking architecture. The inhabitants are pioneers in many areas.
This is my first time visiting Ghardaya, and it has always been a dream of mine to visit the great Algerian desert, which I have always heard about. I finally had the opportunity to do so with my daughters, and it is thanks to them that I was able to visit many countries.
With its qsors, palm groves and old markets, the Mzab Valley has many attractions to offer for sightseeing.
It is my first time here, and I'm blown away by the architecture, the decor, the culture. The whole area is close to my heart, and its culture must be preserved. Many people come to visit, and then they return with their families to visit it again. They are very interested in the people's lifestyle because it is unique and different from that of the big city. Here we live a collective life with neighbors and family members. Many tourists come back from France and Spain. However, this year we received many Americans.
Ghardaya represents a rich and ancient culture with its sacred citadel of Bni Yazgan that is worth a visit, namely since it was ranked a World Heritage Site in 1982.
And with that, our news edition comes to a close. Thank you so much for watching. Good night.